Hi, I'm George Nordhaus, and welcome to Monday Morning. This is the most unusual one we've ever done, and I'm doing it because it's fun, and I've known the guy who's in it for a long, long time, Rudy Whitcomb. You see him there, and he's retired. But all of a sudden, in his retirement, he became a movie extra. Now, why am I telling you about that? Well, every one of you people who are listening in here is going to retire. I'm going to do that. Try to do that one of these days when I'm 100, I think, maybe. But at any rate, this is presented by Rudy Whitcomb, and Rudy Whitcomb is not only was he a former surplus lines broker, but now he's a movie star. Well, that's taken a little bit far, but nonetheless, he's having a good time. Here's the information, some information about Rudy. I knew him best when he was involved pretty much in the Whitcomb surplus lines, and he was at our conventions and seminars, and his wife Marty and my wife Sue, we all kind of knew each other. They used to have a place. Strangest thing, hey Rudy, you can talk to me. The strangest thing you ever did, I think, was you had a place in Hawaii. You went there every weekend from Los Angeles, didn't you? Remember that?
Yeah.
Why? Yeah. I mean, that was pretty tough, wasn't it?
Well, we enjoyed it. We had a house account at the Kahala Hilton and a condo next door, and we would fly out of here at what was it, the 7 o'clock flight on Continental and land in Honolulu at 11:30 at night, with 9:30 their time, have dinner, spend Saturday and Sunday on the beach, and then fly back on the 11:30 flight on Continental, land in L.A. at 6 o'clock in the morning and go on a Monday morning and go to work.
Oh, God. Only you would
I don't
do
know,
that.
I think it'd kill me if it did.
Oh my God, I just can't imagine. At any rate, and when you retired, you've written some manuals. I'm working on the first one myself. I'm about halfway done with it, Rudy, and I'll give you my opinion of it one of these days. I'm reading it on Kindle, and it's kind of fun. Well, you retired, and then of course you had or have a boat that is just amazing. That's the Distant Drummer, and boy, it was really some kind of a boat. And I thought, boy, this guy's living like he ought to. Big boat, sleeping 8 people, and full gallery, and TV sets, and it went around. It went around the world, but it didn't have you in it. Went around the world, did it? You're talking about the boat.
Yes, the boat. The previous owner circumnavigated 3 times. He was a single-handed sailor, as am I, for the most part. My wife seldom went out on the boat, so I was. The previous owner had rigged it for one person to be able to sail a 40-foot boat.
And this guy went around the world by himself? Did he go by himself around the world?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
What a story. Well, but you finally decided that wasn't for you. I know you said Morty didn't like it a whole lot going to it. You live in your house in Rolling Hills. You've been there for as long as I can remember. That's Palos Verdes, isn't it? Or is it?
Correct.
Yeah. And
yes,
go ahead.
We had, like I say, the condo that we used in Hawaii, and then we had a flat that we used in New York and a flat in London. But we had the house here in Palos Verdes the whole time.
If I'd known you were that rich, I'd put it doesn't tell something to you. I didn't, but that was. Oh, you had a great life. I mean, you're still having it, of course. I know from your house you can see the whole world practically, or at least the West Coast. It's just gorgeous, guys. Isn't it? It's tough. Then all of a sudden, you were still writing, and you were going to writing meetings and all that sort of thing, and you can see the Pacific Ocean. But all of a sudden, you decided you were going to go into the movies. I mean, that is the strangest thing, that the movies. Now, you weren't a movie guy or anything like that. I suspect that you wanted to you saw those extras like that and you wanted to be part of it, and I don't blame you for that. But how did this all happen? Okay, how did it happen? Tell me.
Well, I belonged to some writers' workshop in the course of vetting the novels that I'd written, and one of the people in the workshop, one of the workshops was had been doing this kind of thing, movie extra from time to time, and it sounded interesting. And it never occurred to me to do anything like that before that, but I thought, well, I'd give it a shot. So I signed up with Central Casting, and the first thing they cast me in was in a feature-length movie with Lindsay Fonseca called The Escort. And I have to warn you, there's several versions or several movies using that name, The Escort, but this is the most recent one, and it'll be released early 2015.
I see. All right. And then you met this, there's The Escort, then you met this gal there, Lindsay.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was one of the stars of the television program Nikita, along with Maggie Q, who I coincidentally also appeared with in her current television program, which is The Stalker.
Oh yeah, you're in that one too. We'll get into that one. And but you knew her. Well, I guess you knew her then personally.
Yes, Lindsay Fonseca.
Yeah.
Yes, I appeared in a scene with her. Yes.
Well, but I mean, yeah, I think you told me. Anyway, she kind of talked you into going forward with this, and you liked the idea, and that was terrific. And so you decided you were going to be a movie extra. You didn't do it for the money, did you? You didn't do it for the money.
Well, no, there's no money in it. There's little money in it at this point.
Yeah, there really is. You just do it for the fun of it. That's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
Keep yourself going. All right. Then you were in the. I guess your second show was Masters of Sex. Boy, you really you got some good names there. I can say that. Yeah, that's I never heard of Masters of Sex, but I guess I'm going to watch it. What is it? Television show. Tell me about it. Anything? What'd you do there? Remember?
Well, they were very, very specific that they didn't want any of my advice on the subject, but they wanted me to stand around there and look sexy, which I can pull that off.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know you do. You were in Parenthood.
Yes.
Yeah. That was that's interesting.
Yes, we filmed that. The segment I was in was a casino scene shot at the Hustler Casino in Gardena. And we started shooting about 8 o'clock in the morning, but they did not close the casino, so it was open for business. And about 10:30, 11 o'clock, the regular customers began to come in, and they'd see what was going on, or at least I'm not sure they knew what was going on, and they were wandering into the scene and trying to sit down at the tables where the dealers were all actors and all of the other players were actors, and it was really chaotic.
Oh my gosh!
A lot of fun.
Seems like they would have.
The director said you have to make allowances for these regular customers to just, get out of the way of the normal people. So I thought, well, what does that make us? Apparently, we're not among the normal people.
Oh, all right. Well, and then you were in NCIS. Which one of them was it? I mean, there's so many of the NCISs. Los Angeles, New Orleans.
No, this was the first this is the primary NCIS period, and the episode I was in was called And So It Goes, I think it was, with David McCallum and some of the others, and it was a flashback scene to his youth in London, and we used a closed hotel down in downtown Los Angeles, which had been made over to look like a London train depot, and it came off very well. It was a very effective set, and the whole thing worked very well. I was a train passenger, and my shot in that, I'm sitting at a table near the where you go to board the trains, and the actor playing the young David McCallum actually to go to the trains in that scene. There was a good scene.
Then you were in the Mindy Project a couple of times, and that's you in the.
Yes.
That's what were you? You were an escort. Is that what escorts look like?
Well, no. In the Mindy Project, I was in the first episode. I was a patron in an upscale restaurant, which was supposed to be the Tavern on the Green in New York. If you're familiar with it, it's the Central Park.
Sure.
And the scene was with her and her boyfriend, and her boyfriend's mother, who was played by Rhea Perlman, and 3 or so other principals. Mm-hmm. And it was a very lavish set, lavish wardrobes, a good scene. Yeah. The second Mindy Project I appeared in was with a street scene in Manhattan. That was at what would have been close to Times Square, where the Flatiron Building is and all that.
Yeah.
And it was coming out of a restaurant, and I was on the sidewalk behind Rhea Perlman and her son, the actor that played her son. It was a good shot. It was a night shoot at Universal.
Do you ever get any lines when you ever say anything?
I haven't yet. I'm working on it.
I don't blame you. All right.
Yep.
Then you were in the Exes. The Exes.
Yes, that was a great episode. It was with Kristen Johnson and Wayne Knight and David Sheesman, and now they signed on Leah Remini. And the scene I was in was a upscale auction scene. It was very nice. It was done. This again was done in the studio at Sony, and there was the whole cast was there. We were that particular episode hasn't been released yet, and I'm very anxious to see it come out.
All right, you were the club patron on Cougar Town, the club patron. Now you got some pictures of you here. There you are. Is that your costume or is that your coat? There's your book.
That was the wardrobe I had for the second episode of Cougar Town that I was in. The first episode was in a bar in I think it was St. Petersburg or someplace in Florida.
Yeah.
And the second episode, which you're seeing, was my wardrobe at that time was a comedy club, wherein Courtney Cox character felt that, or suspected that her husband or her mate was hanging around in sex clubs, when in fact it was a comedy club. It was a good shoot. It was shot in. Yeah, it was. It was a lot of fun. It was shot in the commissary at the Culver Studios.
What are we doing?
They redid it over, set the cameras and lights and everything up in the commissary. So I wasn't able to have lunch in the commissary that day because we used it for the shoot, which was a disappointment.
Did they give you?
I like it.
Oh, so excuse me. I was going to ask you. Did they always have something for you to wear, or do you bring your own and wear it?
Some of the times, if it's a period shot like Masters of Sex, they furnish the wardrobe. We go 2 or 3 days early to get our hair cut and to get a wardrobe fitting. Then they set the wardrobe aside for us for the day of the shoot, so that when we come back, they give us the wardrobe that we're to wear. Masters of Sex was set in the 50s in St. Louis, and it was a winter scene, and it was extremely hot that day in Culver City. So dressing in a sweater, coat, pants, wool hat, and all of that in 100-degree heat was really terrible. And there were 160 of us in the outdoor shoot. I appeared later on in an indoor scene in a bar wherein we had a wardrobe change, which is, again, awkward to do, to change from one wardrobe to another. But I was on that shoot for 17 hours straight. It was a real trial.
you earned your $9.50 an hour, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Well, in fact, they pay us overtime for that.
Right. Oh, they do pay overtime? They ought to pay overtime.
Yes, they do.
Okay. Rizzoli and Isle. I never heard of this one either, but I've heard a lot of these things, but I don't watch that much television, I guess. Gene, and that's kind of an interesting one here, though. But I like.
Yes.
What? Go ahead.
Rizzoli and Isles is a detective show with 2 female leads, and this was shot in pretty much a closed-down hospital, a huge hospital in Glendale. I forgot. I think it was Glendale Memorial or something, and it is just huge. And like I said, we only used 1 floor of it, and they had to pump in air conditioning. We have the studio. They have portable air conditioners huge units that they set outside, and then they pump cool air in to ventilate the building so that we don't. Otherwise, it'd just be stifling inside.
Then Scandal, you were a district attorney. There you are in your district attorney suit, huh?
Yeah, let me see. On Scandal, in fact, I was in a courtroom scene on Scandal, which was shot on a location that the studios jointly used, which has two full-blown courtrooms, plus a jailhouse and all that goes with it, and a permanent set out in Glendale. And that was, again, another night shoot, but it wasn't all night. We were out of there by midnight or so.
What fun.
And it was, and in fact, they've shown that episode, and it wasn't, I think they cut the whole thing.
You know
what?
Go ahead. I was going to,
you skipped House of Lies.
Yeah, I did. Look, if you were House of Lies, I didn't want to skip that. I'll get back to it in a minute.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I even heard that one. House of Lies. At any rate, The Mentalist. I know you were on The Mentalist. I used to love that Mentalist show. You were on there twice. I love Jane, the guy that plays the part. I guess they're going to close out now. Oh, it's renewed for the 7th season. Yeah, I saw it the other night. What'd you do on that?
Well, the first shoot was in a park, Balboa Park in Encino, and there was quite a bunch of us. We did a whole day out shoot there. We're in Simon and the other players in the.
Right there.
They had quite a lot to do in that park. I think it was a company picnic or something, and we had to change setups several times, which is really tedious for everyone, especially the crew, because they have to change the lights and the reflectors and the cameras and all of that. And we changed positions and moved back and forth.
You told me they're big crews, aren't they? Huge crews.
Yes, the crews number, there must be 40, 50 grips, camera people, light, script people, the directors, assistant directors, producers, assistant producers, production assistants, and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And a lot of equipment, portable generators, wardrobe, change trailers, all kinds of stuff. It's a huge undertaking.
All right, let's go to Marry Me. I know it's really huge. Marry Me, it's another one that I hadn't heard of, but I guess it's plenty of jokes in its lead actor. Right.
That was right. We filmed that on location at Paramount, and I think it was. Don't hold me to that. It was. We entered the scene. We entered the set from the soundstage, so I wasn't terribly familiar with the set. And it was a restaurant bar operation, and so I was paired with this woman who was a real character and a wonderful. They escorted us in. The hostess escorts us into the restaurant. The principals, 3 principals, were sitting at a table directly there in front of us, and then we were escorted to another hostess who takes us into the bar. And we did this shoot, I don't know how many times, and the lady I was with, she came up with a bright idea that we ought to act like she's taken offense at being seated in the bar, that we should have been seated in the restaurant. So she, circa apropos of that old radio show, the Bickersons with Donna Beachy and Francis Langford, she starts raising heck at the bar there that she wants to be reseated in the restaurant. So I thought, well, does that sound like a good idea? I went along with it, where I'm her meek little husband saying, you know, what's wrong with sitting at the bar? It's close to the booze and all of this. And finally, she gets up and stalks out. And I'm scurrying along behind.
We lost her there. She got up and did what?
Stalked out of the place.
Stalked out. Okay.
And I'm scurrying along behind her, trying to put her coat on her. And she goes to the front doors, which were not real doors. They were just props. And she gave it a push, and the whole set on here fell over into the street. And she was so embarrassed about it. It wasn't her fault. She didn't know.
Rudy.
And it was just...
Rudy, we're losing you. Go right on into that phone. We're losing you the last 2 or 3 sentences. Say it again.
Well, she didn't know that the the entrance to the set was just a prop. It wasn't really the entrance at all. So she gave it a push, and the pane started falling out of the windows, and the whole thing started to fall out into the street, which was, of course, they had to cut the scene and stop the shoot.
Oh my!
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Fine.
What?
Okay, we were in A to Z.
So,
you were in A to Z.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
You were in Mike and Molly. That was that's interesting. I know that's on now a lot. That was I guess that's Mike and Molly.
That was.
Go ahead.
Yes. That one was shot on in a studio. It was a set that was made up to look like an Indian gambling casino, and it hasn't been aired yet. But there was a poker contest, and the two actors on the lower left there were
right here.
They were the principals in the scene, and the rest of us were occupying the poker tables and around the outer perimeter of the set.
That sounds like fun. Yeah, and then you were in the Stalker a couple of times. You told me, and Stalker was I've seen the name of it, but again another one I haven't seen. You were in the Goldbergs. There you are. You were a party host, huh? What's that? What was that about?
Oh, right. It was shot in a mansion in Brentwood.
That's Silicon Valley, isn't it? You were in Silicon Valley.
Oh, right.
Yeah, both of them.
Right.
And then the Goldbergs. I'm sorry, I got myself. Okay. And the Goldbergs, what happened? What was that about?
Well, in the Goldbergs, this was shot at the Los Angeles Tennis Club, and the young boy who plays the youngest son, and George Nordhaus were in the shot.
Oh my God.
We were in the restaurant. It was a restaurant scene, and the young boy. The premise of the shot was that the young boy was having a Forrest Bueller day off type of a moment, wherein he had ditched school and borrowed or somehow or another came in possession of a Mustang convertible and was going to have a big day of it there at the Los Angeles Tennis Club. And then I was paired with a couple of gorgeous lawns at a table overlooking the view. I ended up lucking out that way. Most of the time I'm set with a very good-looking actress. The thing I did for Cougar Town in the comedy club, I was paired with a very attractive young lady. And I just have a time of my life.
I don't blame you. That's not too bad. I don't know how Marty feels about all that, but I think it's just great. And I'm going to have to see you. And then, and incidentally, do you see a lot of the same people from the extras on these things? Some of them.
No.
No.
I see occasionally there's a few of us that tend to get cast in the same roles, which I'm generally cast as a upscale, successful businessman. 50 or 50-ish or older, and so when the role calls for that, a lot of times the same
people will be in it. Yeah, I got it. Well,
there'll be a half a dozen others that I've gotten to know, but there's so many extras that they're just a blur. Most of them.
I imagine
some of them I've got to know pretty well.
A lot of them. Some of them that's their full-time income, isn't it? Their full business.
Well, that's what I understand. I don't know how they manage.
I don't either, but. Well, now go ahead.
Well, there was one in particular who had worked for a bank that I had the chairman and the president of the bank had left to form a new bank, and I was one of the founding stockholders of that bank, and so we had something in common. And he was retired also, and we were together in several shoots. His name is Ron Brown. And the last one, I think we were both together in the Silicon Valley shot.
I'll be darned. Well, now, then you told me the last one you've just finished was called The Comedian, and it's not The Comedians. The Comedian, it's not out yet, but it was done on this Culver Studios soundstage, and but it's not out yet. And what's The Comedians about?
Well, you have Billy Crystal and Josh Gad. Billy Crystal playing the older comedian, successful comedian, and Josh Gad playing younger up-and-coming comedian who star in a TV program called Billy and Josh, which is a TV program within a TV program. So what we were shooting was the Josh and Gad show as part within the comedians program. And they did several skits. I was an audience member. There was 40 or 50 of us altogether. And we changed wardrobes or changed position in the audience, and they shot a total of 5 script days, they call them, which would end up as 5 separate episodes of The Comedian the day we were there. And within those scripts were 5 different skits that Mr. Crystal and Mr. Gad performed for their program.
I always got a kick out of it. You said they wanted you to laugh, keep laughing, and it's hard for you to do.
Yes. Yes. There were some of the, I must say, some of the people in the cast were able to laugh easily on cue, and it sounded very genuine. But I just had a heck of a time. I could not laugh to save my soul. I don't think it mattered that much because there were so many others who could.
Yeah. Well, let's. I mean, those were really interesting that you've done those things, but now it's retirement time, and you're sitting out there, and watching it, but you're really not. It's to you, I guess it meant it's time for a new adventure, and that's what I'm really intrigued with. I'm retired, not expired. I like that one. I saw this one here. You fulfilled all your professional ambitions. Now is the time to achieve your personal aspirations. Retirement is the start of life's golden phase. Give your childhood dreams one final chase. Happy retirement. Well, tell me now, this is a big step. Why, in retrospect, are you happy you took the step? Why did you take the step? And what's your future going to be?
Well, first I want to state that I very much enjoyed the insurance business. I had a very wonderful time. It was a terrific adventure for me. I did a lot of travel. I met a lot of really wonderful people, of which foremost, and I saw a lot of extremely interesting things. But there came a time that you want to move on, and the age situation and a lot of other things conspired to make me think that I'd done all I was going to be able to that was going to be an adventure for me as far as the insurance business was concerned. I had already started writing books back 4 or 5 years before I actually called it a day in the insurance business, and I would go up to the boat and work on the books midway through the day and leave the office to run itself. So stepping into retirement was kind of an easy step to take. I kind of primed myself for it, and so the day came that I was just going to stop doing the insurance altogether and start doing the writing and whatever else I wanted to. I had taken on a huge landscaping project, which I'd done myself as much to stay in shape. I had one goal, which was to recapture my washboard abs. And I'd always stayed in pretty good shape, but this required a concentrated effort on my part, both in changing and being extremely focused on my diet and also on my exercise regimen. And the landscaping project fit that very well, along with my usual exercise routine. So once I achieved that, and the landscaping project came along very well, and like I say, I met this lady in one of my workshops who was into this acting thing, and that was just kind of an impulse thing. As much, I think, it teased my loved ones that I could head off in an entirely different direction and do something entirely new, a real departure from what I had done for all those years in the insurance business. And worked out so very well for me. I've enjoyed it so much, every bit as much as I enjoyed even the highest lights of my insurance career. And I'm still enjoying it. Some of the shoots are not as much fun as others, but the ones that are fun are really fun.
I can just imagine. Do you have advice for a guy who's going to be retiring pretty soon? Because a lot of our people are.
Well, I don't see how you can stop being active, especially for people who've been in the insurance business per se, because every day is an adventure. You meet different people, you're different clients, you're confronted with different challenges as far as their needs are concerned. So stopping doing that altogether would be a wrenching change. For me, stepping into this and the other things that I stepped into were confronted me with challenges that were every bit as interesting and exciting as my insurance career. And I had wanted to quote from Dylan Thomas just a line or two. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage against the dying of the light.
Wow. Wow.
I just don't see how you can do otherwise.
Well, listen, Rudy, thank you. You've done, I mean, really, it's been fun. I learned a lot about the movie business in the process here, and I learned a lot more about you as an individual, and that's just great. One of these days you're going to get over here to Santa Fe, or I'm going to get over there, and that you got an extra bedroom over there for that big house.
Yes.
Okay, we might do that. But listen, thank you for that. And for the rest of you, it's something different. We're going to have a few things different like this, but I really liked it. And Rudy volunteered. I mean, he didn't volunteer. I twisted his arm, but I'm glad he did. Rudy, you left us with some good ideas. Thanks again.
Well, you didn't have to do much arm twisting, and thank you very much for the opportunity to talk. I love doing that.
Okay. See you all, rest of you, next Monday morning.